G'day and welcome to New Journals. I'm Execute. Today I'm joined by Sia and Algared. How you boys doing?
Doing well, thanks.
So we're going to do a quick video on 2949 or 2019, depending on where you're from. Like normal world or not. But and basically we're going to talk about things that we liked this year, things that we didn't like, and what we would like to or expect to see next year. And this kind of echoes what I did this morning with Astropub on the captain's table and Captain Burks. So, kicking it off, I'll start with Mr. Sear. Mr. Sear, what was something positive? Give me your top 3 positive things then that you want to talk about from this year.
Okay, so I think we discussed this earlier. One was the player sharing for missions.
Mhm.
Then it was the late 3.5, it was the ship component persistence. That was another big one. And for 3 I forgot. There was one for 3.8 that they did that was huge. That was another good one. I forgot. It literally just escaped me. I'm sad now.
The mole.
Is it
No, not the mole.
planetary terrain stuff or nope?
No, it was another quality of life one that like people were, oh, quantum travel times, duh.
There you go.
So those are my top
Mm.
3.
Yeah.
Quantum travel times, component persistence, and player share.
Mm.
Those are my top 3 things for this year.
I can definitely agree with the player sharing thing. I think that's a really big thing, and it's definitely added
Yeah.
to general quality of life as you play across the game. Anything else you want to add to that, Algared, to what he said, to those ones?
One of the things I did like was it's a blessing and a curse. All the things you said, definitely agree with. One of the other things I liked was the introduction of the 890, the big ship.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it is a big ship and it showed that the game can actually start to take and cope with those big things. It's also one of the things I disliked, and I'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah, I can agree with some of those. I think starting to see some of the bigger ships come online is a good thing. We've seen things like the Reclaimer, but ones with more internals is always nice. I myself, I was a big fan of, and I'm also kind of looking to the Tavaran ship as well. I'm liking to see the extra alien races coming online, so I like to see the Banu Defender. Obviously, we'll see the Merchantman next year, and the Prowler's been pushed back, but I am interested to see that as well myself.
Next year.
Soon.
Yeah, soon. TM. But yeah, I was the anything that just adds to generally quality of life, and I think they're moving towards that. I was a big fan of that, so staggered development comes with that as well. They had a massive turnover of staff, and not a lot of people knew about that at the time. And so that they were hemorrhaging people because they were just pushing them so damn hard. And this game, unlike other games, because it's in open development, there's a huge stress level. Because there's so many sets of eyes on you. It's not like a normal game where you just it's just your boss and you've got to work to your boss's level, and that you've also got this peer pressure type of thing or audience pressure watching you and fully stressing you out. So I kudos to all the developers out there, and I'm going to pat you back as much as I can, because I know you guys work really hard. And even things like when the latest 3.8 patch came out, there were people pretty much right up to Christmas Eve literally patching that, which was just crazy to me. Like these guys should be home with their families. And girls, guys and girls should be home with their families, not just out making it better for us, but like I really appreciate the fact that they do that, and it shows that they actually really care about the game, and I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And I think my last one is kind of hard for me, but I just like seeing progress on the game. I think that's a real generalized thing for me. As long as we're taking steps forward, and there's progress being made. And yes, it is kind of looks very slow because we only really see the persistent universe, but I think you guys will both agree. We literally just recorded another show on the teaser trailer. That compared to the couple of years as you've gone back through the teaser trailers, you can clearly see even in the Squadron 42 there is progression and forward development. Characters look better, animations look better, environments look better, ships get reworked, everything looks better and redone. And for me, as long as I'm seeing progress, it's all positives for me in that area.
And you even look at the Planetary Tech 4 that they brought in with 3.8. Well, it's not that big a deal, but it's raised the quality of the planets, and then they had to redo all the planets and moons.
Yep.
for that, and they did it in 2 months.
And
Like
they
that
add
was
weather.
huge to do that.
Yep.
Sorry.
And they had the weather,
Yep.
Yeah.
which was
So
huge.
that plus all the planets redone for Planetary Tech 4, and that also explains why we're still in Stanton and haven't expanded out.
Exactly.
I think it's one of those aspects that is really key. But yeah.
Yep. All right. Moving on to negatives then. I think Algared will start with you, and your 80-90 jump was let's have it.
Yeah.
You have no.
Like-
you have 30 seconds. No, go. No, you're right. Go.
The 890 jump. One of the things I did like, going back to the 890 jump, was the fact that we also had working hangars.
Yeah.
So in the ship, that was a huge step forward. But the thing I disliked about the implementation of the 890 jump was the fact that when they put it in, if you didn't glitch or find the holes in the shields, the ship was pretty much indestructible.
Yep.
You couldn't really destroy it with anything that was currently in game, and that I think was almost game breaking, to have something in that couldn't be counted.
Yeah, I'm going to play the usual thing of it's game balance. They'll get to it eventually. It really doesn't matter at this point.
It was
like
I know there are ships that'll balance it. Yeah. I know there are ships that'll counter it, right?
Yeah.
But the thing was, they brought it in without anything.
You know what they'll do, Algared? If enough people complain about it, they'll just nerf the shield so it explodes like paper every time, because then they won't care. So you're only ever going to get quick fixes at this stage, and they're only going to fix squeaky wheels, because basically, again, everything is going to change. Like you said yourself just a minute ago with the planetary tech, if they've got to come in and make sweeping changes, and everything's up to change at this point, there is no point spending hours and hours balancing and getting shit to work, because it's just going to be changed. All right,
and the 890 jump shouldn't have had something like a fighter that took it out. It should have been big, but it needed to have something to balance it, and because it didn't have that, it skewed the game. And I think we'll see the reverse when the Ares comes out. We'll see that be the reverse side of the coin. But that's just a personal beef.
Anything else?
The biggest thing that I disliked. No. Not a fan.
You got room for 2 more if you want to squeeze them in.
Yeah. I'm thinking. I'm still thinking.
We'll go to Sia then, and he can talk about one of his then. How about that, Sia?
Okay, so my first thing that I was disappointed about was I wasn't really I disliked it was how they added the whole flight model. They were talking about vamping it up. They presented it, and then they threw the flight model at us. And then basically right after that, 3.6, they gave us the hover mode, which is a very controversial topic. I'm not giving my opinions. I don't care. Like, I don't care about like if people liked it or not. The issue is that they threw the flight model at us, and then they didn't fine tune it. But then they put hover mode at us, another thing that was important part of the flight model. And then when people did not like it, then they changed it. But people have been saying the flight model has been, it needs to be better. It needs more alterations, but yet they did not touch it.
You know why though? It's squeaky wheels syndrome again. Too many people complaining, and they were in the progress of working on stuff, so they've just removed it. They're going to work on it internally, and we'll get it later. That's literally what's happened. If you complain too much, they just rip it out.
I know.
You know, but I'm just telling everyone.
The issue is that it's like that was the same thing. If they're going to do that for the hover mode, but they did not do that for the flight model that came out in 3.5, it didn't matter. Like if you're going to do something like that, then the flight model that we got in 3.5 should not have been the exemption to it. It needed to happen, yes, but I feel like that they could have tweaked it a little bit more, as they said they were going to do it with hover mode. We got more transparency with hover mode than we did with our own flight model, which is just as important, because that is the basics of the game, which is why I've been trying to. Why I even said on the Astro Pro when I was on there last week. So that was the first thing. The second.
I was going to do one each. I'm going to go around and do one each. So I'll do mine first.
One each, that's fine.
Yep. Okay. No. We can do 3, but I'll just do one at a time. So my first one would be subscriptions. Subscriptions are actually up this year, based on the financials that came out a couple of days ago. And I think a lot of people signed up for 2 reasons. I think more people that come into the game, more people sign up. But 2, I think, and I'd like to ask you the question, and it's just a simple yes or no, is those helmets they showed off. Up until recently, even Osiris still had that as his avatar
the
on
one with
Discord.
The skull on it.
Yeah, the hologram one. Everyone I knew was like, "Oh, I so want that thing." It didn't come out the
Mm.
entire year, and it has not come out. And they said, like, even before the Centron helmet came out, oh, it's not going to be able to go into the game anytime soon. And people kept, you know, I know people that ran out and subscribed the instant for a whole year when that helmet was announced. And I thought, yeah, it was just it feels so clickbaity now. And very misleading, and I think that's just subscriptions as a whole. Like, they took 3 months off. If you work out how many times they took off, because they took off 3 weeks every quarter, you add that together, it works out to be 3 months. Not to mention that they automatically take extra time off over the holidays. So literally, they're taking a quarter of the year off, yet they're still charging people for that. That's what are you getting compensated? Like, I know it's not about compensation. That's not the reason you subscribe. But like, compared to other years, it feels undervalued. And there is no way that there is $3.3 million in content in those videos this year. Not by a long shot.
Oh God, no.
You know, and that's not having a crack at Disco or anyone that works on the videos. I just think that you could have more videos. And they don't have to be like ATV or Inside Star System. It doesn't have to be 35 minutes long or anything ridiculous like that. But it would be nice to say have maybe 2 videos at least a week. Like maybe one on Tuesday, maybe one on Friday, that type of thing. And that's just, that's what I feel about it. What do you guys feel about subscriptions?
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I think subscriptions, when they first came out, it was the idea of helping with video content and community interaction, and that seems to have really dropped off.
Yep.
In terms of what we get, and so now subscription really is, I think, about getting the extra stuff, and the extra stuff's usually shit. The blasters, woeful. The t-shirts, very few of the t-shirts are any good, and it's really just same model, just.
And if you know how they're made and how quickly they're made, it's kind of gross.
You know, and that really does feel to be what subscriptions are now. And earlier subscriptions or rewards or things we got were even better. Or guns or radios or disc boxes or calendars. Now it's
Sia, your quick thoughts.
Are we still talking about this or my
Yeah, just subscriptions real quick, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I've never been a subscriber.
Right.
I had
so
no
you've seen
reason to
sense.
subscribe. I've had no reason to be a subscriber for Star Citizen, because if I see a ship I like, then I'm going to purchase it, because let's be real here. I purchase maybe 2 or 3 ships a year, and I don't just purchase a small one. Like the ones for my own personal fleet, it overrules the subscriptions anyway. So I'm not going to throw money out of subscription just so I can have a like a 10% coupon or whatever it is. I'm not going to do that when I'm like, that's just not for me. And so I didn't have a reason to subscribe. If I saw a flare item I liked, then I would just say I'm going to wait for it to be released in the game, because eventually everything's going to be released in the game.
No, you say, hey Al or Execute, can you get me this flare item?
Yeah. All right. See your second one, buddy.
My second one was this one's kind of bittersweet. It was the lack of the game mechanics promised, but to counter my own thing of me being disappointed that fueling did not come in this year like it was supposed to. But they kind of made up for it by giving us more mining, because to be fair, nobody asked for quantum interdiction, no one asked for the mantis, and which was like, that came out of nowhere, and we all had our little rant about that was the main thing. I felt like that work being used for quantum interdiction with the whole mantis thing could have been used to make a starting tier ship that could have been another refueler, or using that for the Vulcan, because Aegis we have a bunch of Aegis ships. So, and even though that ship looks more Anvil, cool, I felt like they could have been, made that. So I was kind of frustrated we didn't get the gameplay loops that were said was going to come. I understand everything's subject to change. So countering that was the mining gameplay that we got multiple tiers this year, which was nice.
I've got one that's along those lines too. So I'll talk about that real quick. And mine is the roadmap. I think we can all kind of agree now the roadmap is, it's not a joke, but because
take it with the biggest grain of salt you can.
It's their best laid plan, but I don't think it ever goes to plan. and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that's not me wanting to change. That's just me. Like they do have that as a caveat, or in the caveat area, don't they? But like, it just would be nice if they. It kind of is like you said a bit earlier about the other one. It's a bit bittersweet. So you kind of like you kind of get amped for it, and then it's taken away, and it's like, oh damn! I was
Like
really
our
looking forward to
whole
that.
sea owners
Yes.
and stuff like
But
that.
but I think that also fits in with development, doesn't it? Like you say, this is where we think we'll, and then as development goes on, you go, oh crap, we're not going to get there.
Yeah,
And
you
I
see
think
what's more realistic and what's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think some of the changes they've done, like we've taken salvage out, we've put it here, but for whatever reason they've taken salvage out, but they've also said, oh, we're taking the Vulcan out as well because it fits to have the Vulcan with the salvage, and I think that's a good move. Don't necessarily like it, but it's certainly a really good move in that aspect. So it's part and parcel of development that you make your plans and it's going to change. That's life.
What about your second one, Algared?
My second one, probably the biggest one would be the Ares sail.
Yep.
I'm not overly a fan of the Ares. I think a size 7 gun doesn't make that sense on a little fighter or even a medium-sized fighter. I understand why. I think we've got it at that counter to the big ships. But there'd been a much hullabaloo about we're going from straight to flight ships, and all of a sudden we've got this concept ship that's concept ship, not straight to flight, and that was a bit bittersweet for me as well. But
I mean, that's most ships that most of this year was. We had more concept sales this year than we did at straight to flyable. When last year they said they want to do more straight to flyable.
Yeah.
We had the Rangers, we had the SRV, we had the Corsair, and we had the Ares. There was a couple more that I'm forgetting, and with the Nautilus, I legit thought the Nautilus was going to. I was like, holy crap, is this going to be in game because they're showing stuff in? Then I was like, there's no way.
And then what we get is we get the Mantis, which we didn't really know about, and the CA deck.
That was probably the worst sale this year, in my opinion, because they dragged
the Mantis
it out.
sale.
Oh my god!
My third one is actually very along the lines of this, and that is marketing as a whole. So that actually encompasses everything Algared just said. The Ares sale, the Nautilus sale, all the way through. I just think, again, with the locking down of stuff, I think that they, we talked about this morning on the captain's table, and most people have not been spending any money. Older backers are not spending money because they've locked stuff down. And I said at the time, and I'll say it again here on this show, I think they need to test the ability of how people are going to react if they open it up. So maybe open up some sales just to random VIPs. It doesn't even have to be VIPs. It just pick 100 people at random and just see if they spend more. If you give them an option to buy stuff, are they going to spend more? And it only has to be on, you can work that out within internally at CIG, but I think they'll find if they left it more open, they would sell more. And I mean this in microtransaction terms. You're far more likely to spend $10 or $20 here than spend $200 or $500 there, if you know what I mean.
There was when EverQuest was doing a free-to-play weekend.
Yep.
And they decided, hey, for this period, we're going to make it free to play. We're going to have a microtransaction store open so you can do stuff. And they actually found during that period, they actually made more on their microtransactions than they had on subscriptions. And so I believe they actually got rid of the subscription model, went free to play, and are pushing more of that microtransaction side because it was making more money for them. More money in that short period than they'd made in subscriptions for a year.
And
it doesn't take much to go.
I think the marketing is just, to me, this marketing feels like traditional game marketing, and I think they're just a little bit in the marketing and not enough in the community. And I don't know, that still to me, like we've talked about this many times before, and it still feels that way to me. But what do I know? Sia, what's your thoughts really quickly on the marketing this year?
So I think it's a bunch of hogwash and BS because again, no, I agree with you because I'll reference the Ares video. what was when I started giving my spiel about the ship? What was the first thing I said? Do you remember?
No, I don't, but I'm sure you'll tell
It
me.
said it was when you guys read the brochure. Forget all the
Oh, the
bullshit that they
long
put in
range?
about long
Yeah,
range,
yeah,
this,
yeah.
that, blah, blah, blah. It's all horseshit or advertisement. Everybody does it. Ford does
Yep.
it. Chevy does it. Everybody does it. They add all this bling blam bullshit. So like here's one. Facebook advertising. When I see a phone cover and it says military grade, well, guess what? Don't get military grade because that means that's probably gonna break real quickly. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, if it's military grade, that means it's the latest and greatest." No, it's not because I was in the military. And military grade means it's shit.
Hey, does
So,
that mean that
anyways,
does that
so
mean military grade components in game are crap?
Yeah.
I mean, not in game, but I'm saying when you're
It
advertising
should
something
be.
real.
Yeah.
I mean, they do wear out quicker than other ones, but I digress. So what I'm trying to say is that they they over they they oversaturate the information about ships to give you this persona about it. Even again with the Starfare, what we were advertised when the marketing team made that ship, made the info on that ship, make me and you guys perceive that that ship was going to be able to gather and process both quantum and hydrogen fuel. And we thought that for the longest time until Chris Roberts himself said, oh no, actually it was supposed to be that it can process it, but it cannot gather quantum matter because quantum matter has to be mined.
It actually
Was
said
that
in
this
the
year?
no, he did say that this year, but it actually
Hmm.
in the concept sale, it actually said it gathered quantum fuel, and that's why so
Yep.
many people were disappointed. They hadn't
Yeah,
updated us, and they don't want to update us because then
exactly.
people will be annoyed.
So that's the thing. It was the perception. It's the
Yeah.
marketing perception that blinds us to think that this is what's going to happen, and then somebody comes out of nowhere and says, "Oh no, it's really this." Like again, the long range for the Ares. When people think long range, someone put up a Q&A question. Cool. Does that mean we're going to have beds? This, blah 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 blah. Oh no,
Oh
long
no, it
range just
means
means it can fly really far.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of thought that because I mean, at the same fuel tanks as the Vanguard,
Yeah.
that's why I figured for long range. But then people get these ideas. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Do you guys have
yeah.
other negatives you want to talk about, or do you want to move on to 2020 or 20?
No, we
Theoretically,
can
we
move on to
also have one
2020.
negative left.
Actually, I
Yeah.
kind of just said mine, so you guys can go ahead. I'm just talking about time. That's all. But if you guys want to talk about a negative, go nuts.
The
Oh,
last one I'll leave this at is I hate to say it because I know they're transparent, but it was the things that it was the management combined with giving us bad news at the
Okay.
latest
Yeah.
time possible.
hmm.
Like for
Bad
example, like
communication.
I
Would
don't
you put it as that?
yes,
Yeah.
the bad communication and the failure failure to communicate. Literally
But
failure to report the news.
the
Yeah.
The irony, right? Nothing
yeah.
against the guys, just the
No.
irony that's
Yeah.
I'm referencing that.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
it's literally that. The fact like I don't care that the carrot got delayed. I don't care that it needed more time, but I just it's like it was the most anticipated ship like of all time because like there's memes about it all over the place like Gib Carrot. Like everybody wanted it.
Yeah.
And out of everything they
I
could
think
have
that's the other
released,
reason, though, is why it's delayed. They want to do it right, and I
Yeah.
agree. I'd delay it even if I'd made that call. I would.
I have no again, I just as I just said, I have nothing against it being delayed, but it's they chose the worst time to announce it.
Yes.
Poor Xylo had to play damage control because CIG as a whole, the upper management failed us by saying, "Hey, we don't think it's going to be ready." And I'm kind of happy that someone took a picture because if they said during CitizenCon that the character wasn't going to be released during 3.8, I'm pretty sure people would have been so pissed. And
Yeah.
I mean legit pissed and start booing instead
Yeah.
of everyone cheering at CitizenCon. I'm like, oh, I don't want to see booing at CitizenCon. If you see booing there, that's like, oh, that's pretty depressing. So it's like,
Yeah.
Your last negative,
that's my
Algared.
thing.
Yeah, I think it'd be the marketing and
Yeah.
communication idea that, and I think they're both in the same.
Yeah. They
The
are.
marketing gives the brochures, and the brochures have always been done in that car yard advertising style. And so you've almost, when you look at them, you've really got to pare them back and ignore all the crap that's said with them, and just look at the bare essentials. But then when the bare essentials change from the things that are actually said that it has change on the ship, you know, the constellation, the Katu Owl, Vanguard. It's Legion. The ships have got the Starfarer. And it's frustrating as hell. And then to also be locked in on those ships, we're told, make the decision, make the decisions, those decisions count. And then the reason you buy the ship is not what's there in the ship. And that leaves a bit of taste.
Yeah, we're predicting a lot of people with bitter taste. That's one thing I'm definitely worried about. A lot of people with buyer's remorse down the line, but we'll see how it goes. All right.
I mean, buyer's remorse, you can just melt down the ship and buy it and get something else.
It's not necessarily though, because then you lose a bit of money when you buy it back.
Oh, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I do not disagree.
All right, let's move on to 2950 or 2020. Sia, what is something you are looking forward to next year? Your biggest thing, the biggest thing you're looking forward to next year.
I'll just say server meshing.
Yep.
And true persistence.
I think that's really important. That kind of wraps up the whole end of the pillars thing, and I think everyone's fundamentally looking forward to that, because then we can actually get on to making some game.
Well, didn't Chris say when he was first talking about 4 pillars that when we get those 4 pillars in, that's kind of when you consider the game as being able to go into that better mode, rather than just being in that alpha nebulous state. So that is a really big thing to be looking forward to. But yeah.
So a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, we've recently got new subscribers, and there's always people coming in to Star Citizen. So for the people who don't know, what necessarily entail with the four pillars were the things that Chris Roberts said we need in order for this to be considered a game.
Oh, there was like 9 of them, and I know the last ones are like object container streaming and server meshing, and server meshing is the last one left now.
Basically the big 4 ones was client-side OCS, server-side OCS, the refactoring, which I'm pretty sure we have the refactoring. If that was refactoring was like 0.5, it's like half of a pillar, and then it was full persistence, and then server meshing, which allows the servers to stream, but allows you to be moved from one server to another seamlessly and stuff like that. I'm not a game developer, so I'm sorry if I fucked that up, but like that's the best way I can interpret server meshing, because I'm an aircraft mechanic, so I break shit. I don't build stuff.
He brooms, not pew pews. It's all good.
No. I don't go
swoops.
That's a car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do a barrel roll.
All right, Algared.
Star Fox.
Your big positive for next year that you're looking forward to.
Certainly the server meshing side, just because it is a big thing, and it does mean being able to get more people in a sense in the game, being able to swap servers and find different people. Other big thing that I think is really big is that Battlefield Theaters of War.
That was mine as well, but yeah, Theaters of War. I am really looking forward to that, but keep going.
Oh, that Battlefield vibe?
Yeah. They stole the name straight from Battlefield 5. There is a Theaters of War mode in Battlefield 5. That's the hilarity of it. Anyway.
But I think that whole aspect of getting all arms, the aircraft, and not also just being limited to planet, but also having it go up to space as well. And the fact that I remember Sean Tracy when they was doing this thing saying, "Oh yeah, hey, this is actually on the planet. Here's the planet. We could actually expand the map out. It's just it's just there.
Definitely unlimited in the way they can go, because you can go from a planet to planet, or planet and back to space. There's this whole bunch of different things.
I think things like if they do, that Xeno threat thing, if that comes in as a one-off type encounter and mission type idea. That's something that, okay, it's finished. You put it into Theaters of War, bang, it's another scenario. And so that, I think, really is something to look forward to and be able to enjoy.
The Theatre of War stuff, the Xeno threat stuff is definitely coming. It's just a matter of when. They've obviously removed the files from 3.8 in the BTU, so
I wonder why.
I wonder why they did that. I've no idea, but yeah, sure. But yeah, the Idris is actually still in the files, interestingly enough. But
hang on, it's like this one, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, very much. But
So I would like to say one last thing about something I look forward to.
well, I haven't
which-
finished with my Theaters of War stuff, but if
Oh.
I could just wrap that up first before you change the subject on me, that'd be great. Yeah, so for Theaters of War, like Algared said, you're going to be able to do lots of different locations. They're going to be able to bring in new maps. They're going to be able to bring in new weapons. In fact, if the really big thing though for me is it's going to appeal to a different genre of people. Up until this point, it's really been painted as a space game, but we all know that it's multifaceted and it's got lots of different layers, and it will appeal to lots of different people. But this is a pitch to the FPS gamer. This is a pitch to the Call of Duty players, the Battlefield players. And if this thing needs to be polished. If this is polished and they come in and play it and then they see all the other shit that's attached to it, they will stay. If they come in and this is a buggy mess, they're going to go straight back to Call of Duty, straight back to Battlefield, and trying to get someone to come back to look a second time. I don't know if you've got that with your friends, but if I show them games that are in early access, a lot of the time they won't come back. They look at it once and they're like, no, that's garbage. I looked at it, 2 years ago. Why would it have changed? But that's just how people are. So I think they need to make a really good first impression with it, and I think it will carry through and be what everyone is hoping it'll be. I really want it to be a Battlefield competitor, and I think it's a Battlefield killer if done correctly. Okay, see ya. Moving on.
So, the one, rather than ship persistence and all that jazz, I mean, not ship persistence, but full persistence and server meshing, which is scheduled for the far ends of 2020 or probably early 2021. Let's be more realistic.
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to getting more gameplay loops. I mean ones that fulfill roles of ships. Like the new prison gameplay is nice, but I'm looking forward to refueling, repairing, salvaging. I'm hoping they get refueling in this year. Just give me refueling.
Sorry, bud. Not gonna happen. You're not going to get those until you get server meshing, and they've stated server meshing at CitizenCon was more than 12 months away. Chris Roberts said so that he literally said not even the end of next year, but a little bit after that. So I don't think you'll start to see them.
2021.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, I missed that.
For server meshing.
Yeah.
But they did say They did say that 3.9 was supposed to be fuel gameplay.
Yeah.
They said they want to put fuel in before salvaging. So I want to see more gameplay loops.
Like I said this morning on Captain's Table again, because this show's really reflected that, you really won't see salvage until you see salvage and repair. There is no reason to not bring those two.
Paul and I talked about that last time too. Because you have one that brings up and one that tears down. So
yeah, I mean, it's the same gameplay. Essentially, they're a mirror of each other. You almost one's play like fast forward, the other's reverse. Like it's just fast forward, rewind. But you know what I'm trying to say. And there'll be no need not to develop those two at the same time because there's a little extra either side of that for each one doing it slightly differently. But that core bit in the middle is literally identical.
If you're 3D printing a Gladius wing, to pick up the example I think was used in Captain's Table, and you're putting the components in to do that, you want to be able to take those same components out as you're reversing the process.
Yep.
So yeah, they're two sides of the
same
coin.
Right,
so, yeah.
Algared, anything else, or see anything else you'd like to add? We're coming up on 33 minutes. This is one of the longest videos we've done in a long while. So I want to wrap up if that's good with you, gentlemen.
I was saying I'm not trying to be salty. It's just my opinion. It's how I feel, what I look forward to, what I wish they could have done a better job with. But I will say overall, CIG as a company, this year was them maturing.
Yeah.
So just give me a reason to keep making dumb decisions and buying ships and other things.
Sorry.
Give me a reason to keep supporting the game instead of me just
give him a reason
to
join their thing. Give him a reason to be like crazy Al.
Give me a reason to spend this $1.25 CIG. Give me a reason.
I think it comes down to that again. I think it's just getting harder and harder to follow the game year on year because they are giving less subscription content or less videos. They don't have developer interviews anymore.
Calling all devs matters.
Yeah, I think they just need to. They've locked down the doors just a little bit too much, and it makes it a little bit of a grind to follow things. And then CitizenCon, but the CitizenCon came out, and it was a little bit of a letdown, like comparably to some of the other years. So basically, it feels like at the moment all we're doing is sit around all year waiting for CitizenCon, and I just think that even if they like I was really happy about Pillar Talk. but Pillar Talk was not what they said it was going to be this year. The first Pillar Talk was, the second one, hell no, and the third one, hell no. Like, they were just not what, like, they were basically, like, the third one was a preview of 3.8 that they talked about 5 times before, just not with those people, you know?
And it was pre-recorded during CitizenCon.
Yeah, clearly, very clearly. All right, sorry, Algared, you were going to say? What have you forgot?
I've lost my train of thought.
All right, we'll call it there then, because we're on 35 minutes now. All right, so I hope you guys stayed to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to get your thoughts on what you enjoyed this year, what things didn't you enjoy this year, and what are you looking forward to next year, most importantly, because I think it's always important to take the past, learn from it, and apply that to what we can possibly see going forward. And I think everyone will agree, as CIG is going along this journey, they are learning. Whether it's good or bad things, they are learning what we like, what they like, and what works, and applying it. And that's always movement forward, and I think that's a positive thing. All right. He's been Sear. He's been Algared. Algared, where can people find us?
Before we cut out, don't forget, like us on Patreon. Like us, subscribe, hit the bell, hit all notifications. We do have Patreon as well.
Like us. Hey, just like us on Patreon.
Yeah, just a big tick. Yeah, just a big tick.
But we do have Patreon as well. We do have some subscribers. We're really chuffed that we do have people who are supporting us in that regard. We are interested in knowing what things you guys would like us to do
as kickbacks
to thank you.
Like should I shave my beard or should I keep being bald? Things like that. There was an ongoing poll. I need to look to see what people really
there was more comments about your hair than I think anything on that episode last week.
Get out of here! No freaking way.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was like, man, they're just all comments about his hair.
Yeah.
All right,
keep your hair, shave it. Wow. We'll be a Baracus.
All right, I hope you guys have a great New Year, and we'll
hope you had a good Christmas.
Unless this comes out after New Year, that could happen as well. Yeah, and we do hope you had a great Christmas as well. All right, he's been Sear, he's been Algared, I've been Execute, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Here.
Take care.
See you the 6th. My bad.
Who's here the 6th?
Let's go and settle.
Dear me.